There are some government programs that are simple, cost nearly nothing, and make you say, what a good idea. The fire department in Portland, Oregon has such a program. It's called TIP. It's a 3-alarm fire at 3 in the morning. No loss of life, but the people who used to live here are an emotional wreck.
When I first saw and met the tenants, they were all sitting watching their home burn, and they were kind of in shock. Not a whole lot of words, just an arm over a shoulder or holding someone's hand.
Sue Chambers is a TIP volunteer, a modern-day Good Samaritan. She's been trained to go to the scene of a tragedy and give psychological first aid to those suffering from terrible loss.
There's nothing heroic about putting an arm around someone or giving them a big hug, because people just need to know that somebody cares, that they're okay.
Well, it's a tough situation you're in, you know. It really is.
A year ago, NBC Nightly News ran this story from San Diego about the first TIP program in the country. The Ford Foundation thought TIP was such a good idea, it gave them a $100,000 grant to help them go nationwide.
Southwest Moons Ferry Road, female 73, heart history, shorter breath, and is pale.
The fire chief of Portland and top city officials saw the NBC story and brought TIP to Portland. Now TIP volunteers are routinely sent out by the fire dispatchers.
When I got to the scene, there were already 3 engines there. There was a rescue, lots of cops. She had hit a patch of ice on the on-ramp, skidded across the median and hit a semi-truck head-on. She soon later died. The truck driver was so distraught of what had happened, it really got inside of him. And what I realized right away was, this guy's got to be pulled out, you know, because the victim in the truck she was gone, but he had scars that I could heal on the inside. And that's what trauma intervention is, healing the scars of the heart. We got his personal belongings together, we got his gear out, his sleeping bag. So we made up a list of things to do, where to stay for the night, call your boss and call your wife. It gave him a goal to do, things to accomplish, and then you start to feel better. When I was getting ready to leave, he finally sat down and realized what had happened. Someone had passed away right in front of him at the wheel that he was driving. The enormous feeling that what had happened in front of him only 2 hours before finally hit him, and he broke down. And I was glad that someone was there to help him, to take care of him, and to let him know that he wasn't alone.
The progress of the victim depends a lot on the help that they receive immediately. Just being there and holding their hand, putting your arm around them, telling you're there for them can make all the difference in the world as to how quickly they go through the maze of recovery that's ahead of them.
So in Portland, they're training volunteer angels, housewives, construction supervisors, insurance salesmen. What are they teaching them? How to help anybody traumatized by life. Parents who've lost a child, spouses who've confronted a suicide.
I could hear his music playing out in the garage, and I went out there and I discovered him in the garage, and I immediately went into a state of shock. I had 4 children asleep. It was in the early morning, and I was afraid that they would somehow stumble in there and find him.
I think the most important thing I did was to hang on to her emotionally and psychologically.
She walked in the door. I just remember standing by the door, and she said, "Hi, I'm Barb," and she gave me a hug.
Frequently, people grieving just need silence, and they need you just to be there and be close and be quiet.
At that time, it felt good to hug. Really good. It just helped the pain, to help maybe just squeeze some of the pain out a little bit. And that was to go out and hug a stranger, for her to come into my home and hug me and not know me. I thought that was really something.
There's no way to keep terrible things from happening to good people. But now, there's a way to recruit the Good Samaritans among us and let them do what they can do. And we'll have more on today after these messages.